On behalf of the Board of Education Administration, I would like to welcome you back today. I would like to take this time to recognize our board members who are here. I do know that at the breakfast this morning, both Steve Winter and also Lisa Piper were here. I appreciate that very much. Doris was also here and is here for this part of the presentation. Doris, would you raise your hand? Give Doris a round of applause. Doris did want me to let you know that she will be doing the, what's the name of it, Doris? The Beat again this year. She would like to know of all the good things going on in your classrooms. If you could send her articles, email her about stuff upcoming, or sending her pictures, she would sure appreciate that. My other comment concerning the board is the Board of Education is a lot like the teachers and all of us in here today. And that is they put in a lot of hours with little recognition, and they do it for what's good for kids. If you have an opportunity, I would ask that you make sure you tell them how much you appreciate the time and effort they do put in. I'd also like to give a special recognitions to our custodial and maintenance staff for all the time and effort they put in this summer getting the buildings ready. Please make sure you take opportunity when you're back in your buildings to let them know how much you appreciate all that went into getting buildings ready this summer for school to begin. I've been thinking about this day since December, when I was originally hired, and what message I wanted to convey to the staff. What I found in talking to you and talking to people in the community, that there are some common themes that people wanted to know. I found that in talking to people in the community and staff, they want to know a little bit about my background, both professionally and personally. And I've been asked what my focus will be as superintendent in the district. Tied to this, I want to talk a little bit about why what we do is so important in our current reality. I would like to start with my family. First off, I would want you to know this isn't our usual attire when we get together. However, I think it's ironic that I'm wearing the same suit. I do have others, and you will see me in them. The young man with the goatee on the left is my youngest son, Nick. He is a system administrator in Phoenix, Arizona. About 3 months ago, Nick recently got engaged to a wonderful young lady named Nicole. The young lady next to Nick is my wife, Kathy. Before our move to Beatrice, Kathy was a teacher, most recently Title I Reading Recovery teacher at South Sioux City. The couple next to her includes my oldest son, Mark, and his wife, Jackie. This is a picture of us at their wedding that was about a year and a month, out in California. Mark and Jackie live in San Clemente, California. Mark runs his own technology business, and Jackie just graduated with an accounting degree. I'm not going to really go into a lot of detail about my professional information. What I would want to stress is that I have a varied and extensive background at all different levels, whether it be pre-K through actually post-secondary. I also want you to notice, and we'll highlight a couple of things that talk about how important I think collaboration is to what we do. I was the chairman of the chamber in South Sioux City. I think it's very important that schools work with the business community in what we do. During the Rethinking the High School Experience and Career Academies when I was at the high school, We worked with the business community, the ESU, and local colleges to bring that together. And when we developed and put into place the Siouxland Family Center, it was a multi-agency initiative to provide our families a one-stop shop for preschool, daycare, housing, and social services. What I would want you to know is that I think the job we do is extremely important and bigger than what we can do alone. It's important that we work together. Question I usually get in talking to people is, what are my goals and what is going to be my focus? I have a really simple goal. I want to look at how we as a district and each of us individually improve. You saw the test scores. We're doing very well. You should be extremely excited about the scores and the quality of work you do. While I was researching the district, preparing for my interview, and during the short time I've been here, I believe that we have the critical pieces to make this happen. With the goal of continuous improvement, I think the question then moves to, how do we accomplish this? First and foremost, I want you to know you do many things exceptionally well. I think we are both asking and answering the right questions. Whereas the question is, what are students supposed to know? Our answer has been to create a comprehensive and rigorous curriculum. The question is, how do we know if they know it? The answer is, we have an assessment system that includes common formative assessments, state assessments, the ACT, and now the MAP assessment and the early... Say it again.
Easy CBM.
Thank you. I always say early, and it's easy CTBM. The question is, what do we do when our students don't learn the curriculum? Our answer is to look at differentiation of instruction and in changes of practice. And then the final question is, what do we do when students already know it? Our answer is to look at extension activities and to increase our articulated and dual credit coursework. I believe we have the professional development mechanism in place to move us forward. Our professional learning community time is what we need to continue to measure how we are doing. We need to take a critical look at our teaching practices and their impact on student learning. As we strive to be among the best in the nation, we have to measure ourselves against district standards, state standards, and the Common Core. We have to look at Nebraska State Assessment, the MAP and ACT, to determine where to improve and how to make all students successful. We have to believe that all students can be successful and work toward that goal. So what is our current reality? You just saw the data. I've looked at the data. What we're doing is making a difference. The trend data is moving up in most areas. We have a talented staff. We have demonstrated that when we make adjustments, such as intervention time, that they can have an impact on student learning. We've also seen that when we set higher expectations for students, they achieve them and respond positively. I also think it's nice to see the variance of staff we do have. And I hate to do this to first-year teachers again, but you won't be the only ones. If you're a first-year teacher at Beatrice, would you please stand and remain standing? Now, if you are a second through fifth year teacher in the district, would you stand with them? Take a good look at that group. You can now be seated. If you are within starting your 6th through your 15th year in the district, would you please stand? Again, take a look at that group. You can be seated. And if you are beginning your 16th year or more, would you please stand? You can be seated. I had the fortune to be involved in a year-round school project, and during that time we looked at a lot of multi-age, multi-grade research. One of the things I appreciated about a multi-age, multi-grade classroom was the opportunity to be the youngest, the middle, the oldest. Because there's a lot that all three of those groups bring to the dynamics of a classroom. What I want you to see is that we're fortunate to have staff with a wide variety of experience, and that this is a strength we need to take advantage of in our PLC time. As I said, I believe we have the professional development model in place to move us forward. Professional learning communities. We all know that funding is going to continue to be an issue. I've never seen a time when it isn't. I've never been in a district where they say we have too much money, we need to send some back. You know, we're always going to have needs with facilities, we're going to have needs with technology, we're going to have needs with staffing. We also know that not all students will be as successful as they need to be. We still have work to do. We must continue to improve. While I haven't encountered these questions here in Beatrice, I've been at this job long enough to hear the following comments or questions. One would be, why do I need to change how I teach? I've taught it. It's up to the kids to learn it. As you look at this quote from Mike Mattos, I would ask you to focus on the words that start the second line. Mastery of essential skills and knowledge. I'd also ask you to read again the last 11 words of that quote. Another way to look at this from a district standpoint is you look at our NESA scores. We just talked about those. And look at those as one indicator of mastery of essential skills and knowledge. We have great scores. Most of our percentages are 70 to 80s. Excellent, above the state average. What that means, however, is when you walk into the classroom tomorrow and see those 20 smiling faces, understand that 4 to 6 of them are in danger of having virtually no paths of opportunity. Another comment I've heard is, you know, while we're working exceptionally hard, and you are, and people are, society has changed. It's not the way it used to be. graduation percentage as a district in Beatrice is very good. It's in the mid to upper 80s. Again, I want to put this into perspective, or put it in context. Let's assume a graduation rate of 90%. In a graduating class of 200, that means that 20 students are at risk. Maybe, just maybe, if we could, and the state and others could do a better job with our graduation rate, get more kids to graduate, we might have a little bit more money to spend on education than on costs associated with crime. I've heard the comment before, why should we have to change our practices? You know, it was good enough for me when I went to school. I did well in school, and I would assume most of you did very well. While these are national statistics, anything less than 100% of our students acquiring the skills to be successful after the high school is putting them in danger. Well, after that cheery news, you may be thinking, why should I even try? You know, I'm working hard. I've been in every building in this district over the summer, and every time I go in, I see staff there. I know you're working before and after school. I know you're working on weekends. I know you're taking work home. You may be thinking, why should I do that given what I'm looking at? I am glad you asked that question. One of my favorite quotes are from the research. I hope this slide encourages you. You can make a difference. We must make a difference. About right on time, by the way. I'd like to end today from my part telling you a story that'll give you some insight to me and my personality. Because of my background as both a high school principal and in central office, I've had to work through some very difficult student issues. I'd like to share one of those with you. I had a family contact me wanting to withdraw their son from school. The young man was not very successful in school, and if truth be told, his departure would make things easier for the building and for me. As I talked to the young man and his family about the options that were available, the statistics about dropping out, the amount of money you would make in your lifetime, and about what I could do to keep him in school, I was struck by these thoughts. The young man had dreams, things he wanted to accomplish. That the odds would be stacked against him if he dropped out of school. I wonder what had happened to make school so distasteful for him that knowing all this, he still wanted to leave. Kind of wondered about what the cost would be to society for that decision. And personally, I wondered what I could have done differently to keep this young gentleman in school. In the end, after going through that long conversation, parents signed the form withdrawing from school. What I would want you to know is, I take that very personally. When a child isn't successful, I feel I share part of that blame. There are two pieces of information that I need to share about this story that I haven't yet. First, the young man was only 16. Second, This happened this past Friday, August 9th. While this young man's story still remains to be written, I'm concerned that the outcome isn't going to be good and that I have a part in that. Our motto is striving to be among the best in the nation. In order to be among the best, you have to measure yourself against the best. We have to measure ourselves on how we do with all students. I know we can reach this goal, and I am looking forward each and every day to be working with you to accomplish that. I do want you to have a great school year. I do thank you for your time today.